ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಸುಗಮಕಾರರಿಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ. ಬಹುಶಃ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಈಗ ತಾನೇ 2 ಗಂಟೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. 63 ಜನ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 40 ಜನ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 3-4 ನಿಮಿಷ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ 3-4 ನಿಮಿಷ ಕಾಯೋ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರ ವಾಚಲ್ಲೂ ಈಗ 2 ಗಂಟೆ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ, 2-3 ನಿಮಿಷ ಹಿಂದೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಒಂದು 3-4 ನಿಮಿಷದ್ದು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಾವು 2 ಗಂಟೆ 5 ನಿಮಿಷಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಯಾರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸೆಷನ್ ಇದೆಯೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ, ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ. 2:05ಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ತಮ್ಮನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಭೇಟಿ ಆಗ್ತೇನೆ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
Prasanna sir, mic checking. Are we audible, sir?
Yeah, madam, you are audible. Hope I am audible. ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಪ್ರೀತಿ, ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾ,
No, we didn't hear.
ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಹಾ ಸರ್, ಇವಾಗ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ಇವಾಗ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. 75 ಜನ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ನಾನು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ DR ಪ್ರಸನ್ನಕುಮಾರ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ತಮಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತನ ಕೋರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಜಿಲ್ಲಾ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಮತ್ತು ತರಬೇತಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ತುಮಕೂರು ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಧುಗಿರಿಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ಕೈಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಜಿಲ್ಲಾ ಶೈಕ್ಷಣಿಕ ಸಂವರ್ಧನಾ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಅಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಚಲನ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ನಿರಂತರವಾದ ವೃತ್ತಿಪರ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮನ ನಾವು ಕೈಗೆತ್ತಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ತಾವುಗಳು ಸುಗಮಕಾರರಾಗಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಜುಲೈ ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಮುಗಿಸಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೋದ ಸಾರಿ ನಾವು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಕಲಿಕೆಯನ್ನ ಸುಗಮಗಾರಿಕೆಗೊಳಿಸಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಚರ್ಚೆಗಳು ಡಯಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೀತು. ಈ ಚರ್ಚೆಗಳು ಯಾವ ಕಡೆಗೆ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಕೋನ ಹೊಂದಿದ್ವು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಿಗೆ ಬರೀ ಏನೋ ಫೋನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ಹಂತಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಉಪಯೋಗ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೇಗೆ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ವ್ಯಾಪಕವಾಗಿ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಆಯ್ತು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಮಗ್ರವಾಗಿ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕೂಲಂಕಷವಾಗಿ ಕೂತು, ಬಹುಶಃ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಅದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮುಗಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಈಗ 5ನೇ ವಾರ, 5 ವಾರ ಕೂಡ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಯಟ್ ನ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯಗಳನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆಯ್ದ ಸುಗಮಕಾರರನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕೇಳಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೀವಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ನಾನು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಎರಡನ್ನು ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು, ಇಫ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರಿ ಆದ್ರೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆ ಅಥವಾ ತರಗತಿಯ ಕೊಠಡಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನ ವಾತಾವರಣ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅದೇನು? ನಾನು ಬರೀ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಹಲೋ, ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್, ಸಿಟ್ ಡೌನ್, ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಕ, ಅಥವಾ ನನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಗುವಿನ ನಡುವೆ ಸಂಭಾಷಣೆ ಶುರುವಾಗ್ಬೇಕಾ ಅಂತ. ಇದು ಯಾಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಬಹುಶಃ ನಾವೀಗಾಗ್ಲೇ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಂ ಶಾಲೆಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ತೆರೆದಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಇನ್ 1 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ನಾವು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೋ ಅವ್ರು 1, 2, 3 ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲೀಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಈಗಾಗಲೇ 4ಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೋಧನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಆ ಮಗು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಬಹುಶಃ ಈಗ ನಾನು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಇಫ್ ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಟು ಯು ಇನ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್, ಈಗ ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಂತೀನಿ, ಮೊದಲು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಭಾಷಾ ಅಭಿವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಮೂಲತಃ ನನ್ನ ಮೂಲ ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನ ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ನಂತರ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಅಭಿವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಕೊಡಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನನಗೆ ಮೂಲ ಭಾಷೆನಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ನನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಿಗೂ ನಾನು ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸಿದೆ. ನಾನೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಈಗ, ಡಿಯರ್ ಆಲ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್, ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಅಡೆತಡೆದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನನ್ನ ಆಲೋಚನೆಗಳು ಮತ್ತೆ ನನಗೆ ಮಾತನಾಡುವಂತ ಪ್ರಾವೀಣ್ಯ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಾತನಾಡಕ್ ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತ ಪದ ಸಂಪತ್ತು ನನ್ನ ಕೈಗೆ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ನನಗೆ ಡಿಯರ್ ಆಲ್, ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾ, ಟು ಆಲ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾ ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾನ್ ಮಾತಾಡೋದನ್ನ ತೊದಲ್ತೇನೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ನಾನು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಮಗುಗೆ ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ತಾನು ಕಲ್ತಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ತನ್ನ ಮಾತೃಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನ ಅದು ಭಾಷಾಂತರ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತಾಡುವಾಗ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ತಪ್ಪುಗಳು ಆಗೋದು ಸಹಜ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲೇ ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ನೀವು ಬಹುಶಃ ನೀವು ಕಾನ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿರೋ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲಿನಿಂದ ಓದಿರೋ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲೇ ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಕನ್ನಡ ಪದಗಳು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೇಗ ಬರೋಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದೇನು, ಹೇಗೆ ನಾವು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನ ಕಲಿಕಾ ವಾತಾವರಣ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ನಾವು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಈಗ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜೊತೆ ನಾವು ಸಂವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಸಂಚಲನ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರ ಜೊತೆ ಸಂವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಸಂವಹನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ನೀವು ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರನ್ನು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅಂತ ಭಾವಿಸ್ತೀರಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ಪರಿಕಲ್ಪನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಡೀ ಸಂಚಲನ ಕೇಂದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸಂವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಥವಾ ಸಂವಹನ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನ ಕಡ್ಡಾಯ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರುವಾದ್ರೆ, ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಮಕ್ಕಳಾಗೇನೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರುವಾದ್ರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಕಷ್ಟಗಳಾಗ್ತವೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡೆತಡೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಗ ಆ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಇನ್ನಷ್ಟು ಆತ್ಮವಿಶ್ವಾಸದಿಂದ ತಮ್ಮ ತರಗತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ತೆರಳಿ ಇನ್ನಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮುಖ್ಯ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಬರೀ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಒತ್ತು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೀವಾ? ಆದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಕಲಿಕಾ ಚೇತರಿಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಲಿಕಾ ಫಲಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮುಟ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಟಿದೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು LSRW ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಲಿಸನಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಶುರುವಾಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ನಮ್ಗೀಗ. ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಮೊದಲು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಬಹುಶಃ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಸರಾಗವಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಮೊದಲು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬಳಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವೀಗ, ಅಥವಾ ನಾವು ಈಗ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಕಲಿಕಾ ಚೇತರಿಕೆ ಎಲ್ಒಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಒಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಮಗುವಿನಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಏನು ಹಿಂಜರಿಕೆ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ತೆಗಿಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಗುವಿಗೆ ಆ ಭಾಷೆ ಅಭಿವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾದಂತ ಪೂರಕ ವಾತಾವರಣ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಓಪನ್ ಅಪ್. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು bring down the hesitation in the children. Third, we need to create a conducive environment for all the children to speak legibly and clearly in the classroom. To do that, so we have linked everything into the LOs of Kalika Chetarike. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಏನನ್ನ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾತಾಡಂತ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳನ್ನ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಷಾ ಬೋಧನೆಯ ಮೂಲ ಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನ ಪರಿಚಯಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಡಸ್ಟರ್ ಇಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಅನ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಇಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಪೆನ್ ಇಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಪೆನ್ ಇಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಟೇಬಲ್, ಚಾಕ್ ಪೀಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಟೇಬಲ್. ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವಾಗ ನಾವೇನು ಅವ್ರ ಗ್ರಾಮರ್ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದಾಗ ಮಗುಗೆ ಭಾಷೆ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಸಾಲುಗಳು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್ ಮಕ್ಳು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಈ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಮಕ್ಳು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಷ್ಟೇ ನಮ್ ಕೆಲಸ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಭಾಷಾ ಕೌಶಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಉದ್ದೀಪಿಸ್ಬೇಕು, ಮಕ್ಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋಂಗೆ ಈಗ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಲಿಸನಿಂಗ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ರ ಲಿಸನಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, ಚಾಕ್ ಪೀಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಅನ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆನ್ ದ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಗಮನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೇಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಬರೀ ಚಾಕ್ ಪೀಸು ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ನೀವು ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅದನ್ನ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನೀವು ಅಂಡರ್ ದ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ ಮಗುಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬೇಕು ಮಗುಗೆ. ಅಥವಾ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರೊನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬೇಕು ನಮ್ಗೆ. ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ಗೂ ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನೊಂದಕ್ಕೂ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪದಗಳಿಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಒತ್ತು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಹೇಗ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋದಂಗೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಗು ಏನನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ, ಮಗು ಏನನ್ನ ಗಮನ ಇಟ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಭಿನ್ನತೆಯನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ, ಮಗು ಹೇಗೆ ನೀವು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸುವಂತ ಭಾಷೆಯ ಒಂದು ಲಾಲಿತ್ಯ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನೈಜತೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸೌಂದರ್ಯ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಗಮನಿಸ್ತಾ ಹೋದಂಗೆ ಮಗುವಿನ ಭಾಷಾ ಪ್ರಾವೀಣ್ಯತೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚುತ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದಂತ ಒಂದು ನಿರ್ಧಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಡಯಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ CWC ಕೂಡ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಡೀ ಕಲಿಕಾ ಚೇತರಿಕೆಯ ಸಂಚಲನ ಸಭೆಯ ಉದ್ದೇಶಗಳು ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರನ್ನ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ತೊಡಗಿಸೋದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೊರಟಿದೀವಿ, ಒಂದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡುವಂತ ವಾತಾವರಣನ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತರಗತಿ ಅವಧಿಯನ್ನ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸೋದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆದಷ್ಟು ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನೀವು ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಒಂದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆ ತಗೋತೀರಿ, ಆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆ ತೋರಿಸಿದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಹತ್ರ ಮುಂಚೆ, ಈ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವ ವಾಕ್ಯನ ನೀವು ಬಳಸ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಗ್ ಬಳಸ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಖಂಡಿತ ನಾವು ಭಾವಿಸಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ತೊದಲು ನುಡಿ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಾವೀಗಾಗ್ಲೇ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ದೃಷ್ಟಿಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಯಟ್ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಭಾಷೆಯಾಗಿ ಕಲಿತು ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಿಗೆ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಅವರ ಬಲವರ್ಧನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಯಾರು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹಿಂಜರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಭಯನ ನಿವಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಹಿಂಜರಿಕೆ ನಿವಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಪ್ರೇರೇಪಿಸ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಸಂಚಲನ ಕೇಂದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಹಾಗೆ ಗಮನಿಸುತ್ತಾ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡುವಂತ ಕಲೆನ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡಲ್ಲ, ತರಗತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ವಾತಾವರಣ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಯಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಮೂಲಭೂತವಾದಂತ ಒಂದು ನಿರ್ಧಾರದಿಂದ ಇದನ್ನಿಷ್ಟನ್ನು ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತಪ್ಪಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ. ಡಯಟ್ ಏನ್ ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೆ, ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಸಂಭಾಷಣೆ ನಡಿಬೇಕು, ಸಂವಾದ ನಡಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಸಂಚಲನ ಕೇಂದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಟೂಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಏನೇನ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಟೂಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಸಂಭಾಷಣಾ ಸಾಧನಗಳು ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತವೆ, ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಟೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಕರೀತೀರಿ, ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಎರಡನೇದು, ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಸಂಭಾಷಣೆ ತುಣುಕುಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನೀವು ಏನೇನು ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ತಂತ್ರಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಸಾಧನಗಳು, ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾದಂತ ಒಂದು ಟೆಂಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ತುಣುಕುಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಬಳಸಿ ಒಂದು ಕಿರು ನಾಟಕ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೋ, ಒಂದು ಸಂಭಾಷಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೋ, ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣದಾದಂತ ಒಂದು ವೈವಿಧ್ಯಮಯವಾದ ಒಂದು ತರಗತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೋ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಉದ್ದೇಶ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾರ್ಗು ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗ್ಲಿ. ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಷ್ಟು ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಈಗ ಕಲಿಕಾ ಚೇತರಿಕೆ, ಅದಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೂ ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ಸಂಭಾಷಣಾ ಸಾಧನೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಸಂಭಾಷಣಾ ತುಣುಕುಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ನೀವು ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗೆ ಬಳಸ್ಕೋಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗೆ ಬಳಸ್ತಾ ಹೇಗೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ವಾತಾವರಣ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ವಾಟ್ ಡು ಯು ಮೀನ್ ಬೈ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕದು ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪ್ರಿಜುಡಿಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪರ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸಸ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ನಮ್ಗೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ವಾತಾವರಣ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಅಪನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಅಥವಾ ಅದರಿಂದ ನನಗೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯ ಪರಿಕಲ್ಪನೆಗಳಿದಾವ, ಅಥವಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಹತ್ರ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾತಾಡಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಏನಾದ್ರು ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾರ್ದು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನ, ಅಥವಾ ನಾನು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನಿಲ್ಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಗು ಬೇರೆ ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನ ಕಲಿತು ಮಾತಾಡೋಷ್ಟು ಲೀಲಾಜಾಲವಾಗಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲೂ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ ಶುರುವಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಮಗುವಿನ ಆತ್ಮಸ್ಥೈರ್ಯ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬೇರೆ ಭಾಷೆಗಳನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ಕಲೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಸಹಾಯಕ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಹುಶಃ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೇ ಮಗು 6ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ 7ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಹೋದಾಗ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಬರೀಬೇಕು, ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ, ಗಣಿತ, ಸಮಾಜನ ಅಂತ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿ. ದಯಮಾಡಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಈಗ್ಲೇ ನಾವ್ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮುಂದಿನ 2 ವರ್ಷಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಮಗುವಿನ ಜೀವನ ತುಂಬಾ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಕಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಪರೋಕ್ಷವಾಗಿ ಕಾರಣ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಗಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ, ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದೊಂದು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಈ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಅಂತಿಮ ಅಲ್ಲ. ನಾನ್ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನೂ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಈಗ ಏನ್ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ನೀವು ಸಂಚಲನ ಸಭೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಸಂಚಲನ ಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾಡಿದಿರೋ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರನ್ನೇ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅನ್ಕೊಂತೀರಿ, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸಂಭಾಷಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ಕೋತೀರಿ. ಬಹುಶಃ ಈ ವಿಧಾನ ಬೇಡ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಾರ್ಪಾಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ದಯಮಾಡಿ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಕಡೆ ಸಜೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ತಿಂಗಳು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಬಣ್ಣ ಸೇರಿಸೋಣ, ಅಥವಾ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಅನುಭವ ಈ ವಾರ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಶನಿವಾರ ಅದಾದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಿಮ್ಮ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅನುಭವನ ಬರೀರಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ ಉಪಯೋಗ ಆಯ್ತು, ಆದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಬರೀ 70 ಭಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಉಪಯೋಗ ಆಯ್ತು, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ತುಣುಕನ್ನು ಸೇರಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಬಹುಶಃ ಇದು 90 ಭಾಗ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಇದನ್ನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸೋಣ, ನನ್ನ ಅನುಭವ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಸುಗಮಕಾರರು ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ನಾವ್ ಏನೋ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸುಗಮಕಾರನ ಕೇಳೇನೆ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಈಗ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು 90 ಜನ ಸುಗಮಕಾರನ ಕೇಳಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ 100 ಜನ ಸುಗಮಕಾರನ ಕೇಳಕ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೋತೀರಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೋಗಿ ವಾಪಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಮಾಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಿ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಭಿನ್ನಹ ಇಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಯು is to try out what we are actually facilitating today in the Sanchalana meeting and come back with your experience. Tell us whether we need to make any changes in the facilitation or in the module design or in the activity design, and tell us how we can make it better. ಸೊ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇದನ್ನ ಇನ್ನೂ ಮುಂದಿನ ಹಂತಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲಿರ್ತೀವೋ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಎಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಾರೋ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಳು ಎಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಾರೋ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಇಡೀ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಸಂಭಾಷಣೆ ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೇಷನ್ ಏನ್ ಇವತ್ತು ನೋಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾತಾಡ್ದಿರುವಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರನ್ನ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಸೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಗಮನ ವಹಿಸಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಚಲನ ಕೇಂದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ವಾಕ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎದುರುಗಡೆ. ಅವ್ರ ತಪ್ಪು ಕಂಡು ಹಿಡಿಯಲ್ಲ ನಾವು, ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಹುರಿದುಂಬಿಸೋಣ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವರನ್ನ ಪ್ರೇರೇಪಿಸೋಣ. ಅವರು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಭಾಷಣೆ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಸಾಧನ ಸಲಕರಣೆಗಳನ್ನ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡೋಣ. ಅವರು ಶಾಲೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಲ್ಲಾಗೋ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವರು ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಒಟ್ಟಾರೆ ನಾವು, ನೀವೇನಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಸುಗಮಕಾರರು, ಸಿಡಬ್ಲ್ಯೂಸಿ ತಂಡ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಯಟ್ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿ ಇಡೀ 10 ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ವಾತಾವರಣ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏಕಮುಖವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ತಾತ್ಯಾತ್ಮಕವಾಗಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸೋಣ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದಿನ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತಿಗೆ ಅನುವು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಯಾವುದೇ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳಿದ್ರೆ ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಹಾಕಿ. ಕೊನೆಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತಿ ಮುಗಿಯುವಾಗ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ. ಓವರ್ ಟು ದ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೇಟರ್ಸ್. ಕೃತಿ.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Prasanna. Good afternoon, dear teacher mentors. My name is Michelle, and I will be taking you through some elements of this training module. Firstly, I want to say that we have understood why this module is a speaking module, and we have understood, as Dr. Prasanna has told us, that our main aim is to help teachers speak. Let us understand how the training module that we have developed will help us achieve that. When we try and learn to speak a new language, we are doing 3 things actively. First, we are listening to be aware of the language. Second, we are thinking to understand the language. And finally, we speak to practice the language. Just like that, in this module also, we will be doing these 3 activities. The first is we will be listening, where an English language presenter will be presenting a language segment. Second, we will be thinking and discussing, trying to understand what has been presented to us. And third, we will be practicing speaking. Since speaking is the most efficient activity to practice a language, this module will give teachers an opportunity to practice their speech. Let us see how we will achieve this through the design of this module. The first and the most important part is the role of the teacher mentors. The teacher mentors play a very important role in enabling the teachers to speak in this module. The teacher mentors sit at different Sanchalana centers along with the teachers, and therefore their presence there and their participation in facilitating these activities can make the speaking a success. The teacher mentors are our partners in conducting each speaking activity, and also in ensuring teachers don't hesitate to speak and express themselves in English. Here is the 3 important goals of the teacher mentors in every Sanchalana center. One is, you need to ensure teachers respond in English. Secondly, you need to give correct and sufficient inputs during the activities to help teachers speak. Third is, you need to help teachers practice speaking actively during these activities. What are we trying to achieve by the end of this program that we have with you? By the end of today's session, we are hoping that you will understand what the teachers will learn during the Sanchalana session, and you will also understand how to conduct the speaking activities during the Sanchalana session. So, coming to the module that we will cover during the Sanchalana program. There are 3 things we want teachers to learn during our session. One is 3 speaking tools that we will give them. Second is we will be going through some speaking samples from the Kalika Kshetra basket. Now here we have given scripts for every activity in the modules, in the milestones and learning objectives that need to be covered for the upcoming month. And we have uploaded it on Teachopia. Here, the teachers can use the scripts to speak simple questions and simple sentences to teach in their classrooms. we will be going through some of the simple sentences and simple questions in this module as well to help the teachers get familiar with it. Third is a speech tip. Now, in this module for the teachers, the speech tip we will be giving is pronunciation. Like Dr. Prasanna said, pronunciation is a very important element of speaking in the classroom. There are some words that we ourselves as teachers aren't able to pronounce properly. So we will be going over some key words and how to pronounce them in the speech tip section.
In this webinar, we are covering milestones 4 for grade 4 and 5, learning outcomes 6.5 for grade 6, and learning outcomes 7.4 and 7.4.1 for grade 7.
Thank you, Maria. So now let's have a small activity. What do you see on your screen? It is an objective that is covered, that is taken from the workbook, the teacher handbook of grade 4 and 5 under milestone 4. Step 5 under milestone 4 says to teach months and their orders. Correct? Now, let me ask you a question based on this. What do you think the basic language tools are that an English teacher needs to teach this concept in the classroom? I'll repeat that question again. If a teacher has to teach months and their orders in the classroom, what are the basic language tools an English teacher needs to communicate this concept or to introduce this topic in the classroom? We want to hear and read your answers. So please think and send us your answers through the chat box. You have 1 minute. Calendar. Great. Right? Calendar. What are other things apart from a calendar that a teacher might need? Flashcards. Amazing. Good answer. Charts, great. Numbers, charts with the seasons, very creative, very nice. Word cards. Activity of date of birth, excellent, very nice, very nice. Flashcards from 1 to 12, great. Lots of great answers. Okay, now let's just move on. So we have looked at a lot of physical tools that we might take to the classroom, like flashcard, a calendar, a date of birth, flashcards for the specific months. But when it comes to a language topic, along with the other physical elements we take to the classroom, we also need some speaking elements or speaking tools. What are speaking tools? Speaking tools are tools that help us to communicate language efficiently in the classroom. Here, we are looking at 3 simple tools that we can teach or help teachers understand for them to teach a topic in the classroom effectively. One is a vocabulary set, one is simple questions, and one is simple sentences. Let's look at 3 of these things in a little detail. Language tool number 1 is vocabulary set. What is a vocabulary set? A vocabulary set is nothing but a set of words we need to be familiar with when we teach a concept or a topic in the classroom. They are nothing but keywords or important words related to the concept. Now, when I am saying topic or concept, there are different language topics or concepts at different levels in as we learn language. For example, months is a simple concept. A language unit like nouns is a little more complicated. A comprehension strategy like inferring is a little more complex than the other two. For each of these, if we have a vocabulary set, it will help us teach the students more efficiently. Now, let's do a small exercise. You see 3 of these topics on your screen. Can you think of what a vocabulary set for these topics would look like? Let's go over topic by topic. I will say the topic. Please respond with words you think that will go into a vocabulary set of that topic as I ask you. So we'll begin with months. What will a vocabulary set for months look like? What are the words you will need to teach the topic months in the classroom? Send your answers to us through the chat box. Great. January to December, name of the month, how many, how and many, very nice. Okay, let me give you a little tip or let me help you a little here. Can we think of words that we use to define the month or the different parts of the month? Days of the year, great. Days, good. Numbers, very nice. Which month comes after what? Okay, calendar related questions. Excellent. Now let's move on to the next topic. What are the words that we would require to teach the topic nouns? Reply in the chat box, please. Names, good, great. Okay, I'll give you a little tip here. Can you think of words we use to define the topic nouns? Things, persons, animals' names, birthdays, places. What about birds, places, vegetables? Good. Naming words, excellent. Great. Okay, now moving on to the third one, inferring. Can you think of some words that we will use when we are teaching the topic inferring? Okay, let me help you a little here. Think of some words that you will use to define the term inferring. For example, meanings. I might use the term meaning when I'm defining the term inferring for the children. Inferring. Synonyms, great. Search, amazing. Find. Okay, superb. So we have been able to think about different words that is connected to each of these topics. However, sometimes it is hard for us to think of words at random. If you noticed, when I gave you a clue or a type of word to think about, for example, I said names when it came to months. A lot of us were able to respond by saying January, February. When I said nouns, I would have said definition or example. Some of you were able to think of examples of the word. When it came to inference, it was a little harder to think, but the moment I said definition and gave you a cue of the kind of words I want, you were able to respond with search or synonyms. So that's great. Now, just like that, when we are introducing a vocabulary set to a teacher, it will help us if we categorize words in order for them to understand where these words belong, under which categories belong, and how a vocabulary set is formed. Let's go over the vocabulary set for each of these concepts. For a simple concept like months, we have 3 basic categories: names, description, and parts. Under names, we have different names like January, February, March, just like you gave us answers. Under description, we have first, second, third, fourth. I also got some responses like that. Now, let us make a small note here. The words first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, while used to describe months, also are called ordinal numbers. That is a topic that we have to deal with under milestone 4. But they're also descriptive words for months. Then we have parts those are different parts of a month, days, weeks, and so on. Now, When it comes to nouns, it is a little more complex, but still we have different categories that will help us identify vocabulary words that we need to know. For example, types. Now here we have types of noun like common, proper, collective. Then we have instruction. Instruction might seem like a complicated category, but it's nothing but words we use when we give children instructions to do an activity about nouns. For example, observe. When we say, uh, can you observe this picture? Tell me, what do you find? See, appropriate, identify, and so on. Then we have definition, that is, words used to define the a topic noun, naming words like somebody came up with here, animals, people, thing, right? Then we have examples of nouns. Now, examples that we have given here is lion, doctor, village, sky, book, crow, dancer. But a category like examples can have lots and lots of examples. But here, for the sake of the teacher, we will limit it to examples that we are dealing with in the textbook and the workbook. Now, inference. Inference, like we noticed, is a little more complicated topic because it's a comprehension strategy. And we, being experienced teachers, took a little time to come up with words. But the moment I gave a category like definition, you were able to come up with words. So similarly, here we have three categories: definition, instruction, textbook, and workbook. Under definition, we have words used to define the words like meaning, unfamiliar, context. Under instruction, we have words used to instruct children while they are doing activities about inference. For example, refer, alphabetical, dictionary, identify. Then we have words from the textbook and the workbook, which are difficult for teachers to pronounce or to understand. So we have also categorized them here. Words such as toxic, foe, skeleton, and so on. Now that we know that we need a set of words to teach the topic, and we know our first language tool, what is the second language tool? The second language tool is nothing but simple questions. Simple questions are questions, simple question statements that we need to know in order to ask children about the topic. Because only when we ask, they are able to respond and think. We have two categories here where we have given you simple questions. One is we have simple questions from the Kalika Kshetrike script. That is the scripts uploaded for you on Teachopia under every topic. So there you will find simple question statements as dialogues which you can ask the children. Second is something very special called question framework. Let's look at what a question framework is. Now, after the teacher reads the dialogues from the Kalika Kshetrike, what else can they ask the students? For that, we have given them a very simple formula. If you look at the question on the screen, what is your friend's name? The word friend here can be replaced with any other word like its kind. For example, aunt, brother, to make different questions. I can ask the same, I can use the same formula and ask using different combinations of words. For example, if I want to use the word aunt, I will say, what is your aunt's name? Or what is your brother's name? What is your teacher's name? And so on. Now, can you think of forming a question using this question framework? Can you think of some answers and send it to think of some questions using this question framework, just like I did in the previous slide, and send it to us on the chat box? What is your son's name? Excellent. What is your mother's name? Very nice. What is your husband's name? Great. What is your cousin's name? Okay, you can use words like mother, father, sister. Great. What is your favorite food? Okay, so here, all right, that might belong to a different question framework, but good effort. What is your grandmother's name? What is your hearty person's name? Very nice. Very, very nice. What is your team's name? Great. So that is how we use a question framework. You notice how you used one question and replaced one word in the question to come up with different questions, right? So that is a tool that we want to teach the teachers so that they will use, by remembering one question, they will be able to come up with lots of questions just by replacing the words. Now, the third language tool is simple sentence structures, right? In simple sentence structures, once again, we have two categories. One is we will take the teachers through Kalika Chetrake sentences. That is nothing but sentences they can speak in the classroom, given in the Kalika Chetrake scripts uploaded for them on Teachopia. And the next is a sentence framework. Any guesses what a sentence framework is? Right. If some of you have guessed that it's just like a question framework, you are right. A sentence framework is just like a question framework where we use one sentence and we can replace one or a couple of words in the sentence to form different words. Now, the sentence here you see is you can use a cup to drink tea. Here you can replace the word cup with any utensil like spoon, and you can replace drink tea with what that utensil is used for, like eat rice. So I can change the sentence to you can use a spoon to eat rice. So can you come up with some sentences using this sentence framework? Send your responses to us via chat. You can use a glass to drink water. Excellent. You can use chalk to write. Superb. Very nice. You can use pen to write. Excellent. Excellent. Remember, teachers, that the words that you use need to be of the same kind. So if you replace one word in the question or sentence framework, it needs to be replaced with a word from the same kind. You can use brush to brush your teeth. You can use straw to drink. You can use pencil to draw. Amazing. Excellent. Great answer. Still waiting for some more. You can use headphones to listen properly. Superb. Great. Okay, our time is up. That was a lot of fun. So as you can see, question frameworks and sentence frameworks can help us create a lot of sentences and questions by giving one example. And this is something, if we help the teachers learn, they will be able to practice speaking much more fluently and learn the language a little faster. So on your screen, you see a basket. Like in the beginning, you mentioned that teachers need different tools that they might carry with them in a physical basket to take to their classroom. Think of these three speaking tools as something they carry with them in the basket in their mind to take to the classroom, so that when they go to the classroom, they are prepared to speak basic and fluent English. Of course, this is something that will not be achieved right at the start, but it's an effort that if we keep making, we will achieve soon. So now that we've gone through the three tools, let me tell you how the Sanchalana session on Saturday is going to go. We are going to focus on three topics from the Kalika Chetrake. One is months from grades 4 and 5 under milestone 4. The second is nouns from grade 6 under learning outcome 6.5. And the third is inference from grade 7 under learning outcome 7.4 and 7.4.1. So what we are going to do in the next segment is we are going to take you through the activities that we will be conducting for each of these topics. To help you understand how the activities are conducted and to help you understand which activities you need to step in, we have color coded some slides. When you see the slide, in blue color, that is an activity that the teacher mentor facilitates. That means that is an activity that you will facilitate. We want you to understand and think about how you will facilitate the activity that you see in the color blue. The activity is for the teacher, but the teacher mentor will step in to help them do the activity. Now, in the first segment, we will give you tips on how to handle each of these type of activities. And in the next segment, we will practice those tips. Whenever you see a purple slide, that's a tip for the teacher mentor. When you see a green slide, it is nothing but a couple of sentences or a couple of questions taken from the Kalika Kshetrake that we will be reading out for the teachers. When we finally come to yellow slides, those will be post-webinar activities where you can use the same concepts and help the teachers understand how they can use these 3 tools in their classroom. So we will begin with months. How are we going to conduct the activities as we introduce each of the 3 tools when we deal with months? Let's look at that in a little bit of detail. And in this segment, I will give you mentor tips how to handle each of these activities. The first language tool is vocabulary set. This is an activity that will be conducted at the Sanchalana Center. The activity is, and is directed to the teachers, can you think of words we use to teach months? Think and speak with the teacher mentor. Now here, during the Sanchalana program, the teacher mentor will take over from us, and the goal is to help the teacher speak and come up with words related to months. What are some of the steps that we can follow to ensure this happens? There are 2 basic steps, no matter which activity you do, that you can follow to help get responses. One is you can repeat the question. And when you repeat the question, it will not only help them recapture the question in their mind, but maybe help them understand the question better. You can also emphasize on some words in the question as you repeat the question to help them understand what they should pick up from the question or how they should answer. The second is you can use an example of your own. So when you give them an example of an answer of your own, they will be better directed to know how they can answer the question, and they might be more free to talk themselves, because the goal here is to help teachers come out of their shell and to not be shy, but to talk. That is the basic goal here. Let's see, when it comes to this activity, let's practice using this activity, how we can do that. So first you will repeat the question. Can you think of words we use to teach months? Wait for a few seconds for the teachers to respond. Some may respond, some may not. If you don't get responses, we will go to step 2. We will give an example. So you can say, I can think of the words January and 1st. Can you think of more examples like this? This will help you get some basic responses from teachers. Now, when it comes to this slide, we will be taking them through the different words and the different categories for the words months. And we have gone through them earlier. I will just quickly repeat them for you. Under the category name, we have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Under description, we have 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and those are also ordinal numbers. Under parts, we have days and weeks. Now, when it comes to a vocabulary set, we have also spoken about how some words may be difficult for us to pronounce. This is why we have a special segment when we do a vocabulary set called Speech Tip, to help us pronounce some very important words that we might use in class from the vocabulary set. Over to Maria.
Good afternoon, everybody. Now let us see how you is pronounced in the 1st, 6th, and the 7th month of the year. So it is January,
January,
June,
June,
July.
July.
Okay, now I would encourage all of you to please repeat after me from the next month onwards. Now, how do you pronounce you in the 2nd month of the year? So it is February.
February.
Very good. Now, remember to pronounce the final blends at the end of the month, as in ch,
Ch,
li,
li,
a,
a,
st,
st,
er. Very good. Now, the unique final sound of NE, sorry, so we'll pronounce the months now. It is March,
March,
July,
July,
May,
May,
August,
August,
September,
September,
October,
October,
November,
November,
December.
December.
Now, the final unique sound of NE is pronounced as N, and the E is not pronounced, as in June.
June.
Now, there are some special sounds that we need to remember, as in J is pronounced as Ju.
Jo.
AU is O.
O.
OC is Ok.
Ok.
Now, let's see how the months are pronounced. July,
July,
August,
August,
October.
October.
Now, don't miss sounding the letters in between. N,
N,
R,
R,
G,
G,
T,
T,
B,
V,
S.
S.
As in January,
January,
March,
March,
August,
August,
September,
September,
October,
October,
November,
November,
December.
December.
Now, you have seen all the rules. Let's go through all the months from beginning to end. Now, I hope all of you are repeating after me. It's January,
January,
February,
February,
March,
March,
April,
April,
May,
May,
June,
June,
July,
July,
August,
August,
September,
September,
October,
October,
November,
November,
December.
December. Thank you, Maria. Now, when the teachers are following an activity like this, they are doing two things. One is they are listening, and they are also expected to repeat after the facilitator. As a teacher mentor in the center, what are some things that you can monitor here? Now, teacher mentors, please note the speech tip segment is an activity that you don't have to facilitate directly or intervene directly, but to help the teachers understand and get all the speech tips correctly, you can monitor two things. One is you can monitor that the teachers are actively repeating after the facilitator. That is, if a teacher is not repeating or closing their mouth, make sure you go to them and ask them to repeat. Secondly, if the teachers are repeating correctly, sometimes the teacher might repeat, but they might repeat the wrong pronunciation. As a teacher mentor, if you happen to listen to that, please feel free to go and ask them to repeat the correct pronunciation. Now, let's come to the activities for the second language tools under months. Question framework. Sorry, the simple questions, not question framework. The second language tool will be simple questions. Now, under simple questions, the first segment we have is questions from the Kalika Chetrike scripts. We will read out the Kalika Chetrike questions, the questions given in the script for the Kalika Chetake under the particular topic, like so.
Do you know how many months are there in a year? Can you tell me at least 5 months in order? Which days of the week are weekends?
Now, once again, in this activity, the teachers are just listening. Now, here we have the second activity, that is a speech related activity where the teacher mentors have to step in and facilitate. I will say, or the facilitator will say, you see a topic on your screen, the month of May. Get into pairs and ask questions to each other about this topic. So what are some of the things that we can do as mentors to help teachers answer or ask questions about this topic to each other as they sit in pairs? So when it comes to paired work, here are a few simple tips you can follow. First, you need to find a simple way to pair your teachers. One way that you can pair your teachers is ask one person to count themselves as 1, the person on their right to count themselves as 2, the person on their right to count themselves as 1, and the person next to them as 2. This goes on till all the teachers in your center are numbered 1 and 2. Then ask all the teachers who are 1 to raise their hands, and they become a pair with the teacher who is 2 sitting on their right. This is a simple way to get them into pairs. If you have a simpler way to pair them up, please use that. After you pair them, again, we go back to the basics of, we repeat the question. So you repeat the question on the slide for them, or you paraphrase the question on the slide for them. And third is you give them examples of the answer from your own. Now, fourth is a very special tip for paired work. That is, when it comes to pairs, you have one extra step. Let's look at that step in detail. You need to look for pairs who need support and help them communicate. How will you do this? Let's break that down. First is you will look for pairs who are not communicating with each other. That is, they are not able to talk to each other, or they are refraining from communicating. Second is you're looking for pairs who are not communicating in English. So if you find a pair like this, one is you help them by repeating your examples once again. The examples that you're given in the beginning of the activity, give it to them once again. Fourth is you give them simple statements so they can form questions based on your statement. Let's practice and see how this works. So first you will say, pair up with the person next to you, or you can use the same format that I have given you to pair. Second, you will say, as you repeat the question for them, you will say, let's ask questions about the month of May. Then you will give them an example. Which month comes before the month of May is an example of a question we can ask about the month of May. Fourth, if you are walking around the center and you see a pair that is struggling, walk up to them and repeat your example. Okay, so I have given an example at the beginning of the activity. Which month comes before May is a question that we can ask about the month of May. Can you think of some more questions like this? If they are still not able to form a question, you can give them a statement. The month of May is hot. Can you think of a question we can form based on this statement? For example, is it hot in the month of May? So here are a few ways you can help a pair communicate with each other and ask questions. Next, we will introduce them to the question framework for the topic months. There are two simple question frameworks here, which is the first month of the year and which month comes before June. We will give them examples of words that they can replace in these question frameworks. For example, in the first one, they can replace the word first with second, third, fourth, and so on. In the second question, they can replace before with the word after and June with any month of the year. So they can ask a question like which month comes after July if they want. After we've explained what a question framework or how the question framework for month works, we'll move on to the activity. Once again, this is a question framework activity that needs to be conducted in the Sanchalana Center. You all have understood what a question framework is, and you're all able to use the question frameworks to come up with different questions. So here we have given the teachers 3 questions that they will see on their screen. How do you as a mentor conduct this activity for them in the Sanchalana Center? So when it comes to a question framework activity, there are 3 steps that you need to follow. Once again, the first one is you repeat the question. And here, not only the question of the slide, but you will also repeat the question frameworks that are there in each of the each point. Then you will give examples of your own. Since we know how to use a question framework and come up with many question frameworks, you will give an example for each question framework. Third is you will take responses. Now here, some teachers might understand how a question framework works, and they will use the whole question framework and come up with another question by replacing one word or 2 words, whatever is required. But sometimes a teacher might take time to use the question framework, but might be able to give you single word responses. When you get single word responses, you should simply take the single words, use it in the question framework, and repeat it for them to show them how to use the framework. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so before that, let us go into how we give examples of our own when it comes to question frameworks. It is not as simple as the previous activities, right? So first, you read the particular question, which is the first month of the year. And here you will say, you can replace the word first with last, third, fifth, shortest, and so on. An example I can give you is, which is the last month of the year. So here, like I have said so far, you have given them an example. Now, the next step is you have to take their responses, if they are single word responses, and frame it. So supposing a teacher says, second, third, how will you make them use these words in the question framework? What you can do is you will say, okay, good answers. Now let's use these words in the question framework, which is the second month of the year. Or if I want to use the word third, I will say, which is the third month of the year. This is how you will conduct an activity on question frameworks. Let's practice. For the slide that we saw, we had 3 questions. You will take one question at a time. And these are some words that you can replace the word first with in the first question and give examples. Similarly, if teachers are using these words to you like first, second, third, fourth, fifth, you can take the words and use it in the question framework to give them example. Second one is which month comes before June. Here again, you can replace the word before with after and June with any month. Give them an example and use their examples to form the framework. And third is, in which month do we celebrate Independence Day? Independence Day can be replaced with any festival that we know. So in which month do we celebrate Independence Day? We can also say in which month do we celebrate Sankranti, in which month do we celebrate Republic Day, and so on. I just want to make want you to make a small note here. We have made a special script for all the teacher mentors with each of the activities and what is the questions that will be asked and what examples you can give and how you can frame these words in question frameworks or sentence frameworks for your Sanchalana Center to make it very easy for you. So please don't worry about how you're going to get more examples and use it. It will come to you in the script. But what is important to understand here is how to conduct the activity and how to explain how a question framework is used to the teacher. Next, now that we've done question frameworks, let's look at simple sentence structures. Once again, here we have some sentences from the Kalika Chetrake script.
A calendar is a tool that is used to find the date we are on. Each month has a unique name. December is the last month of the year.
Okay. Now that we have gone through the sentences from the Kalika Chetrake, we are going to look at sentence frameworks. Okay. So an example of the sentence framework for months is the month of May is the 5th month of the year and has 31 days. The month of May is hot. So here, once again, we will teach the teachers how to use this sentence framework with different words. We will tell them to replace May with any month. We will tell them to replace 5th with any ordinal number. Similarly, 31 days with the right number of days for the month that they have picked. And if they want, they can add a sentence about a holiday, like the month of May has lots of birthdays, and so on. Now, here again, we will give an activity for the teachers on sentence structures. It is the same sentence. The month of May is the 5th month of the year and has 31 days. The month of May is hot. How will we conduct a sentence framework activity? Now, a sentence framework activity is very similar to a question framework activity. Once again, the 3 tips that you need to remember is 1, you will repeat the question. And here you will specifically also repeat the sentence framework for them. 2, you will give examples of your own. And 3, you will take responses if they are single word responses and frame it. So, if this is the activity, you will read out the sentence for them. The month of May is the 5th month of the year and has 31 days. The month of May is hot. Here, I can replace the month of May with June, and I can replace the word 5th with 6th, and the word 31 days with 30 days, and the word hot with cold. So I will tell the teachers in my center, if I'm the teacher mentor, an example that I can give you using the sentence framework is the month of June is the 6th month of the year and has 30 days. The month of June is cold. Okay. Now we have the final activity for the segment month. Talk to your pair. The activity says each pair will be divided into, will have 2, person A and person B. Person A will ask a question using the question framework, and person B will speak a sentence using the sentence framework. Here, after learning so much about sentence framework and question framework, we want the teachers to practice speaking to each other using these frameworks that they have learned. How will you conduct an activity like this? A very special mentor tip here. You need to help them be independent with this activity. That is, you do not give them a lot of inputs like the previous section, but we need to see if they are able to do this activity by themselves. However, there are few tips that we can follow. First, you can ask the pair to decide who between them is person A and who between them is person B. Once you let the pairs decide that, give them a few minutes. Let's see if the pairs are able to think by themselves and come up with a question framework or a sentence framework and talk to each other. After that, walk around the room, pay attention to the pairs who need help and give them specific examples, just like the examples that we have discussed in the previous section.
Now, moving forward with the next topic, nouns, we are going to address the learning outcome 6.5. As you can see, there are various grammatical concepts that is being addressed in this particular learning outcome, out of which we are just selecting the simple nouns. Let us take a look at nouns and see how we can conduct the speaking activities for each of the tools using the mentor tips that we have already learned. As we all know, the first language tool is vocabulary set. The next activity will help the teachers to come up with a few words for the vocabulary set to teach the concept of nouns. How will you conduct the activity to ensure teachers speak up and come up with the words that they will use while teaching the concept noun during the webinar on Saturday? You all have 1 minute to think how you will conduct this activity in your center as a teacher mentor, and please let us know your response through chat box. And your time starts now. Teacher mentors, all that you have to do is give us what are you going to do when this activity is happening in the center. So one of the teacher here is responding that we will ask the teachers to list some words, tell the names of the places, and give asking questions like what is the name, conduct language games and make the teachers understand the concept. Yeah, you have last 5 seconds. Names that you use in daily life. Yeah, surrounding things. Yes. Good job, teachers. Let's see. Let's just recollect what is the mentor tip when what we have to do during this activity. The first step is to repeat the question. As you all know, the first step is to repeat the question and then use an example to help them with. So another tip that we would like to give you all our mentors is to remember and to read out the category and give an example to each category. Like to say, if you say the types as one of the category of nouns, then you can give the example as common noun, proper noun, or collective noun. And when it comes to instruction, it can be observe. And when it comes to definition, it can be anything to define the concept itself, like naming words. And you can come up with an exhaustive list of examples. And here is the exhaustive list of the vocabulary set for each of the category that you can see. And we will be taking this on the day of the webinar on Saturday to our teachers. Moving ahead, as a next step, we have speech tip. I would now request Maria to take us through the pronunciation of few difficult words from the vocabulary set.
Now, in the previous session, we had 3 pronunciation tips. First, we saw how some letters need to be pronounced differently when pronouncing certain words. Second, we learned that we need to pronounce the initial sounds of the words and the final sounds of the words. Third, we saw how we pronounce the letters in between. Now, in this section, we will quickly pronounce these words using simple sound units. I would request all of you to please repeat after me to listen to the appropriate pronunciation of the days of the week. I hope you all are ready. So it says Monday,
Monday,
Tuesday,
Tuesday,
Wednesday,
Wednesday,
Thursday,
Thursday,
Friday,
Friday,
Saturday,
Saturday,
Sunday.
Sunday.
Thank you, Maria. When this activity is going on Saturday, what would you as a teacher mentor monitor during this activity? Can you please send us your responses in the chat box? When our facilitator, Maria, is helping us with the pronunciation of the words, as a teacher mentor, what would you do on the day of Sanchalana? Think of the tips that already our other facilitator has taken you through. Helper teachers, yes. Can you tell us, elaborate us with how do you help our teachers? Make them say the days of week. We help by pronouncing, yes. Repeating after mentor, yes. With proper pronunciation, very good. With correct pronunciation, yes. Thank you, teachers. As you all said, yes, that's what we are supposed to do. And also, we should look at these two things. If the teachers are repeating, are they actively repeating and coming up with the right pronunciation is the two things that we need to look when we are going through this activity. The next language tool is framing simple questions. Here, we will be looking at some of the questions that are available in Kalika Chetarike scripts on Teachopia.
What are the things that you see? Do you think peacock is a naming word? What do you think is the naming word in this sentence?
As a next step, here we will be taking the teachers through what a question framework looks like for nouns. Here is an example which says, can you tell me the names of a person, name of a person? Here the word person can be replaced by different types of nouns like any place, animal, or thing. Now, I would request the teachers to again tell me how will you conduct this following activity. It's a question framework, and during the day of Sanchalana, we would request you to take over this activity. And what are the tips that you would follow to conduct this activity at your center? You have to help the teachers to come up with the right questions. How would you help them? One is to repeat the question, yes. Any other responses? Give examples, very good. Through proper examples, very nice. Make them to construct the sentences, different examples, very good. Let me just repeat the mentor tip here for you. It says, repeat the question as you all said, and then give examples of your own and take responses and help them to frame it. As we all know, to just reiterate, when we are giving examples of our own, we can just replace the sentence here. Name an animal that you can see at the zoo. If the question is this, then you can replace the animal with a person, and then you can replace the zoo with office and say it as name a person that you can see at the office. Name a thing that you can see at the library. And then if your participants are just giving them words like things or person, then you can repeat the whole question saying, name a person that you can see at the office, name a thing that you can see at the library. And as we can see here, the underlined words like animal, zoo, book, and thing, and Bengaluru can be replaced with the other set of other words of the same set. Like, for example, animal can be replaced with a type of noun like person, animal, thing, and the word zoo can be replaced by the names of other places like office, park, school, etc. And the word like book is a thing that can be replaced with any other object, and Bengaluru can be replaced with any other place. Now, let us move to the next tool, that is language tool 3, that is simple sentence structure. Here is the script from the Kalika Chetadike document that has been uploaded in Teachopia.
When a naming word names only one person, place, animal, or thing, it is called a singular noun. When the number of things is more than one, then it is called a plural noun. Yes, that is correct. Plural form of window.
Here is the sentence framework that we will be taking our teachers through how to form a sentence for the concept, the language unit noun. The word tiger is a noun because it is the name of an animal. You can find it in a zoo or the jungle. Here, the example of noun is tiger, book, house. You can replace the word tiger with book or house. When you replace the word tiger, remember to even replace the word animal with the type of noun that you are referring to. If you are referring to a book, then the type of noun would be a thing. And then the words like zoo and the jungle are the examples of places, and it can be replaced with the words places itself. During this activity, I would request all our teacher mentors to tell us how will they conduct this activity on Saturday. How will you help our teachers to frame simple sentences using the framework given to them? I would request all of you to let us know your response through the chat section. Create the atmosphere, yes. But we have already given the sentence framework to you. We would request you on the day of Sanchalana, that is on Saturday, we would request you to facilitate and get more responses from your teachers. Yes, replace different kinds of noun. You would help them to replace different kinds of noun by framing simple sentences, that is by giving other examples. Yes. Yes, asking simple questions and conducting a small conversation. Yes, repeating the question. Very good. Yes, teachers, you're all right. Let's see what is this framework for sentence here. It is just to repeat the question and then give examples of your own, then take responses and help them to frame it. The word lion is a noun because it is the name of an animal. You can find it in zoo or the jungle. Here the word lion can be replaced with any noun, and the word animal can be replaced with the type of noun that you have chosen, like person, animal, thing. And the words zoo and the jungle can be replaced by the names of other places like office, park, and school.
Okay, the next topic is inferring, which is there for grade 7. And we are using the learning outcomes 7.4 and 7.4.1. So the first one is language tool. Language tool is vocabulary set 1. Now let's familiarize ourselves with the vocabulary set. Now when we are using inferring or we're teaching inferring, we use the words for definition like meaning, unfamiliar, context. Similarly, when we are giving instructions to the students, to the learners, we use words like refer, alphabetical, dictionary, identify. Now, there are some words from the Kalika Chetrike workbook which are toxic, foe, exoskeleton. Now, here is a speech tip. Let us all pronounce together. I would want all of you to please repeat after me. Toxic, antenna, exoskeleton, wheat, foe, divide, embraces, satisfied, luxurious, poverty, exhausted, lavish, hugs, contented, share, healthiest, dirtiest. Thank you so much, everybody. Now, the next language tool is simple questions. Now, like you have already seen Michelle and Kriti take you all through this language tool, let us learn what is there in the Kalika Chetrike scripts that are present in Teachopia. Learners, what can we do when we do not know a word in English, but we need to find the meaning as soon as possible? How do we find out the meaning if no teacher or person is available to help us? Class, what do you understand when I say success? Now, coming to question framework. Now, tumbler is a word that is there in Kalika Chetrike workbook. Now, how do you frame questions? For example, have you heard the word tumbler before? Do you know what the word tumbler means? How would you look for the meaning of tumbler in a dictionary? Does tumbler have more than one meaning? What does tumbler mean in that particular sentence? Now here the word tumbler can be replaced with a new word that the students are not familiar with. Moving on to the language tool 3, that is simple sentence structure. From the Kalika Chetrike script, here are the words that are there. Write down the word that is missing from the board. Read the paragraph on your own and call me if you need any help. Now that we have learned the rules of using a dictionary, I want you all to arrange these words in the alphabetical order. Now, the basic sentence framework while using inference is tumbler is a glass without handles used to drink. Now, the meaning of tumbler is this. Now, tumbler can have more than one meaning. Now, when you find out the meaning of any word, or when the learner finds out the meaning of any word, he can use the sentence framework and replace the word tumbler with any word in the box from the activity. Now, here are some post-webinar activities that you can take in the Sanchalana centers. Now, create one sentence using the framework that you can use in your classroom. Now, mentors, remember that take these sentences and whatever the words that are highlighted and underlined, those can be replaced. For example, in January, we celebrate Sankranti. Now here, January can be replaced with any month of the year. Similarly, Sankranti can be replaced with the corresponding festival for that month. Now there are lots of holidays in the month of May. Now here, May can be replaced with any other month, and holidays can be replaced with either birthdays or public holidays. Now create one question using the question framework that you can use in your classroom. For example, what is a book? Is it a person? Now these words, book and person, can be replaced with place, animal, or thing. Another activity is create one sentence using the sentence framework that you can use in your classroom. Is Rahul loves dogs and hates cats. Now the nouns in this sentence are Rahul, dogs, and cats. Now Rahul can be replaced with any other person's name. Like here we have mentioned Smita, Kriti, Sushil, Kulsum, and dogs and cats can be replaced with any other animal, thing, or place. So for example, we can say Kriti loves lions and hates tigers. Now, this is for inferring, where we create one question using the question framework that you can use in your classroom. Now, have you heard of the word tumbler? Now, since I have already taken this up, this you can replace the word tumbler with a lot of other words that are mentioned in grade 7, 7.4 learning outcome. So there are words like toxic, exoskeleton, there are many other words. So this word tumbler, here it means a glass without handles used to drink. Similarly, you can place the word tumbler with the difficult word and the meaning in this.
Here we come to an end of this module. If the teacher mentors have any questions to us, we can go ahead with the questions.
ಎಲ್ಲ ಸುಗಮಕಾರರು ಮೊದಲು ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ರೈಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಬಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಒತ್ತಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಪ್ಯಾನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ತಕ್ಷಣ ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಅನುಮಾನಗಳಿದ್ರೆ
Nagaraju sir, you can unmute and speak. Nagaraju sir, you can unmute and speak.
ನಾಗರಾಜು ಸರ್, ಕಾವ್ಯ, ಸಲಾಂ ಭಾಷಾ, please unmute.
Kavya ma'am, you can unmute and speak.
Madam, can you hear me?
Yes ma'am.
Madam, in the 6th standard Kalika Chetarike, you have told only about noun.
Yes ma'am.
But they has given lot of topics, madam, in that book. They has given articles and adjective and adverb. Many
Yes ma'am.
they have prescribed in the Kalika Chetarike book, madam.
Yes ma'am. Ma'am, the Kalika Chetarike handbook and the workbook that is there for us, all the activities that has been prescribed in that particular book has already been scripted out where the teachers can use it. This is just a framework that we are trying to give here.
What do you mean saying means they has given already in the correct way how to teach. So no need to say again.
No,
In the
ma'am. I'm
webinar.
just saying that when you open our Teachopia and other contents in the Teachopia, you will find the scripts that what the teacher can take and perform in the classroom.
Mm.
So there are certain everything that is being mentioned in the script that we are providing in Teachopia, ma'am.
So
So
only
this
you are
is
not
just a
explaining here.
framework which can be replicated for other topics too.
Only you are giving one an example.
Sorry, ma'am.
Now you are
We are
giving
just
only one an example.
Yes, we are just giving an example for
Remaining
every
all the things it is prescribed in the app, madam. Is it in the app?
Yes, madam. I just want to elaborate on what Kriti said, madam. If
Madam.
you remember during this each of the segments, we took questions, simple questions and simple sentences from the Kalika Chetrake script. That was the slide in green, madam. So you will find sentences and questions like that for all the topics given in the standard 6, standard 7 and standard 4 and 5 for this month. We have scripted out all the activities for every topic, and you can use these simple sentences and simple questions to speak in class and have a dialogue. But the framework of the 3 speaking tools we have given for these 3 topics specifically. We would have loved to give it for all the topics, madam, but due to time constraint in our module, the 3 speaking tools and the tips that we have given for vocabulary set, for question framework and for sentence framework is limited to these 3 topics only. As we go by and the teachers get familiar with the tool, we would like to give for more and more topics and cover a lot more for this.
Madam,
You
yesterday
will
itself
yeah.
Hello.
Sorry, ma'am. Could you please repeat that?
Yesterday itself, I informed to Suchendra sir, madam. Actually, we are our teachers are still in the learning outcome 3. Can you hear me, ma'am?
are
Yeah,
you
madam,
referring
we
to
are hearing you.
6.3, ma'am?
Yeah.
Still, our teachers are teaching learning point 3, sir, and the milestone 3 in the grade 4 and 5.
Yeah,
But
madam.
in
I
coming
will completely
Saturday,
agree with you. When we discuss with the diet people and also with the teacher mentors, couple of teacher mentors. So because we were supposed to do English in the previous week, it has got postponed because of Independence Day. People thought they would already covered in the last 15 days they have covered that and we have moved ahead. And the fact is also in some of the schools the teachers have not covered them because they are busy with the Pratibha Karaji and sports and other thing. So when you get into the classroom, madam, Sanchalana Center, you take stock of it. Those who have not done, those who have done, then you take a call. How to facilitate this activity and also give them tips on how to cover the LOs of the 3 or 3.6. Those LOs also you can cover, madam. So because we can't take one call because so in all the 10 blocks we don't know where the teachers are exactly teaching. In couple of blocks teachers are much ahead and in couple of blocks teachers are still lagging behind. So in your Sanchalana Center, you first ask them where they are from wherever they are for that Kalika Chetarike module or the learning outcome. You can customize these activities for their benefit, madam.
okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
And also, I would like to add here that in our Teachopia app,
Yeah,
the
madam.
scripts are available for milestone 3, milestone 4, 6.4, 6.5, 7.3, and 7.4 and 7.4.1. Covering all of these LOs, whatever activities are there in the Kalika Chetarike handbook, those activities, the scripts of those activities are going to be available in Teachopia by today evening.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Ma'am, any other questions?
No, madam. No issues.
Yeah.
Thank you, madam.
Anybody have any questions? Please raise your hand, unmute, and speak. Thank you, Kavya madam, for starting the discussion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Kavya madam, you can unmute your phone with the background noise. Others, please raise your hands and you can go ahead talking, because we encourage you to discuss here. Otherwise, while we go to the Sanchalana center, what we hear about, I got confused and I would have asked them directly, or how I can ask. Even you can use bilingual. ನೀವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲೂ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲೂ ಮಾತಾಡಬಹುದು. ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಭಾಷೆ ಒಂದು ತೊಡಕಾಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಕಲಿಸ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಎರಡೂ ಭಾಷೆನ ಬಳಸಿ, ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನ ಬಳಸೋಣ. ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಬಳಸಿದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಸಂತೋಷ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಭಾಷೆ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಬಳಸಬಹುದು. ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಸಂದೇಹಗಳಿದ್ಯಾ? ಕೃತಿ, ನೀವು ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ಕಮ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ನ ತೋರಿಸಿ, ಎಲ್ಲರ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ನಾನೀಗ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರು ಯಾರು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡೋವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳುವಂತ ವಿಚಾರ ಇಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನು, ಕಲಿಕಾ ಚೇತರಿಕೆನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಮೈಲ್ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಈ ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ದಾಟಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆಗಸ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸೆಪ್ಟೆಂಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹುಶಃ ಆಗಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕಾವ್ಯ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ ಮೈಲ್ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ 3 ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ನಾವಿನ್ನ 4-5 ಅಥವಾ 6ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನ 5 ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು. ನಾವೀಗ ಏನ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೀವಿ, ಆಗಸ್ಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ಸೆಪ್ಟೆಂಬರ್ 3ನೇ ವಾರದವರೆಗೂ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೀವಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾದಂತ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ಗೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟೆಡ್ ಸ್ಪೀಚ್ ಟೂಲ್ಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಈ ಸಂಭಾಷಣಾ ಸಾಧನಗಳೇನಿದಾವೆ ಅಥವಾ ಸಂಭಾಷಣಾ ತುಣುಕುಗಳೇನಿದಾವೆ, ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಅವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಇನ್ಹಿಬಿಷನ್ ನ ತೆಗಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಚಾಲನ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ನಾವೀಗ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಂಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು, ಭಾಷಾ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನ ಅನುಭವ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ತರಬೇತಿಗಳನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿಲ್ದ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸಂಚಲನ ಒಂದು ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಹಿಂಜರಿಕೆನ ಹೋಗ್ಲಾಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೊಂದಷ್ಟು ಆತ್ಮವಿಶ್ವಾಸನ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ, ಈಗ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸಿರುವಂತ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳೇ ಅಂತಿಮ ಅಲ್ಲ. ನೀವ್ ಇದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಫ್ಲಾಶ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀರಾ, ಅಥವಾ ಇದಕ್ಕೊಂದು TLM ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀರಾ, ಅಥವಾ ಈಗಾಗ್ಲೇ ನೀವು ಈ ತರದ ಚಾರ್ಟ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಹತ್ರ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಅದನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಿಗೆ. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಿಗೆ, ಸೊ ನಾನು ಈ ಕಡೆ ಟೈಗರ್ ನ ಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಝೂ ನ ಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಲಯನ್ ಬಂತು, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬಂತು, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಪೀಕಾಕ್ ಬಂತು, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನೀವು ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸೋದೇನಾರ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ತರದನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸಿ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕ ಸುಗಮಕಾರನ ಏನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀನಿ ನಾನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಡೀ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯ ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತರಗತಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ವಾತಾವರಣ ಕಲ್ಪಿಸುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶ ನಮಗ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸಮಗ್ರವಾಗಿ ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ನಮ್ಮ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ತೊಡಕನ್ನ ಈಗ ನಿವಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ವೇದಿಕೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಮಾಡಿ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಬಂದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಇಂಥ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಅವ್ರ ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಿಮ್ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೇಳಿ, ಆ ತರದ TLM ಗಳನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಬನ್ನಿ, ನಾಳೆ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವ್ದೇ ಟೀಚರ್ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಎನ್ಕರೇಜ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರಿಂದನೇ ಮಾಡ್ಸೋಣ. ಯಾವ ತರ TLM ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ, ಈ ಚಾರ್ಟ್ ಹೇಗ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಪಜಲ್ ಹೇಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಥವಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರಾಂಬ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ, ನೀವ್ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರನೇ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ ಅದೇ TLM ನ ಅವ್ರು ಹೋಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡಿ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ವಾಂಟ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡೇ, ಸೊ ಸಂಚಲನ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಏನಾಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಒಂದು ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿಂಜರಿಕೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ನೀವು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ತರ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಅವ್ರು ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರ ತರ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನಾಚಿಕೆ ಬಿಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಹಿಂಜರಿಕೆ ಬಿಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ತರಗತಿಗೆ ಹೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಯಾಕೋ ನಂಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ವೇನೋ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಸಂಗತಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಸಂಚಲನ ವೇದಿಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತವಾಗಿ ಸಂಭಾಷಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಕಲಿಯೋಕ್ ಬಂದಿರೋಂಥ ವೇದಿಕೆ. ನಾನು ಈಗಾಗ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇದೇನಪ್ಪ ಸಣ್ಣ ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಸಿದ್ರೆ ದಯಮಾಡಿ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೇಟರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಇಬ್ಬರೇ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಈ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರು ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅವ್ರ ಕೈಲಿ ಹೇಳಿಸಿ, ಅವ್ರ ಕೈಲಿ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ, ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಒಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸಂಚಲನ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸಂಚಲನ ಕೇಂದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಆ ಸಂಚಲನ ತರಗತಿಗೆ ದಾಟಬೇಕು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ವಾಕ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ, ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಪದಗಳನ್ನ ಸರಾಗವಾಗಿ, ಸುಲಲಿತವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಅಡೆತಡೆ ಇಲ್ದಲೆ ಉಚ್ಚರಿಸಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮನೇಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ನಮ್ಮ ಪೋಷಕರಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇನ್ನು ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಕಲಿಕೆ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಖಾತ್ರಿ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಆಗ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಉಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಇನ್ನು 1 ವರ್ಷ 2 ವರ್ಷ ಆದ್ರೂ ನಾವು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಕಲಿಸ್ತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಏನು ಭಾಷೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೀವಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ, ಆ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ನಾವು ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ ಕಣ್ಣೆದ್ರಿಗೆನೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಶಾಲೆ ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವೇ ಅವಾಗ ವ್ಯಥೆ ಪಟ್ಕೋತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಸರ್ಕಾರನ ದೂರ್ತ ಕೂರೋದ್ ಬೇಡ. ನಮ್ಗೇನು ಈಗೊಂದು ಅವಕಾಶ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ತಿರದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ 15, 20, 25, 30 ಜನ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಿಗೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಬದಲಾಯಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರೆ ಖಂಡಿತ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿ. ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಇದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಉತ್ತಮ ಸಂದೇಶ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅಥವಾ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ನಮಗೆ ಕಲಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಿರಿ. ಪ್ರಿಯಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನೋ ಸಲಾಂ ಭಾಷೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಅನ್ಸಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡಿ. ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಟ್ಟಾಗ ಇದು ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ. ಇದು ನಿಜ ಕಾರ್ಯಗತ ಆಗತ್ತಾ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಸಂಚಲನ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇದು ಖುಷಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಖುಷಿ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಖಂಡಿತ ಇದನ್ನ ಮುಂದುವರ್ಸೋಣ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಖಂಡಿತ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸೋಣ. ಬದಲಾಯಿಸೋದಂದ್ರೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಆಗ ಅದನ್ನ ಸೇರ್ಪಡೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಇದು ಅಂತಿಮ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾರಣಕರ್ತರಾಗಿರ್ತೀರಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದರದ್ದು ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆಯಾ ಇಲ್ವ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನೀವ್ ಏನಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರೈ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಈ ಮಾಹಿತಿಗಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಕಾಯ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೇನೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಈ ದಿನದ ಶುಭ ಸಂಜೆ. ಡಯಟ್ ತುಮಕೂರಿನಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನ ಅರ್ಪಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನು ನಾವು ಶನಿವಾರ ಭೇಟಿ ಆಗ್ತೇವೆ. ಶನಿವಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇವತ್ತೇನು ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತಪಡಿಸಿದರೆ ಈ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳನ್ನ ಕಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಈಗೇನು ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ ಪೂರ್ವ ರಸಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಅದರ ಉತ್ತರಗಳನ್ನ ಕಳಿಸಿರ್ತೇನೆ. ಆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೋತ್ತರನ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಮಾಡಿ. ಅದೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವಿಜ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರೀ ಡಿಟಿ ಕಳಿಸಿದೀವಲ್ವಾ ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ ಪೂರ್ವ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೋತ್ತರಗಳನ್ನ, ಅದನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿ. ಆಗ ಅವರು ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು ಉತ್ತರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವರು ತಡವರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವರು ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಈ ಉತ್ತರನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ 10 ನಿಮಿಷನ ಒಂದು ಪೀಠಿಕೆ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಯಾಗಿ ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ನಮ್ಮ ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆದಂತದ್ದು ಇದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲರ ಜೊತೆ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತಿ ಪಡಿಸ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಬಹುಶಃ ಸುಮಾರು 1.25 ಗಂಟೆ ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ ಕಾಲ ಕಳೆದಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಮಯ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕ್ಷಮೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ. ನಾಡದ್ದು ಭೇಟಿ ಆಗೋಣ. ನಾಳೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾದಂತ ತಯಾರಿಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಈ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತಿನಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.